The first UK cinema was opened up by cinema pioneer Burt Akers at 2 Piccadilly Mansions in Piccadilly Circus on March 21st, 1896. It was called a canopticon and showed short, silent films. Now cinema's come a long way since then, with over 800 independent cinemas and over 307 multiplex sites, but what we want to know is what is better, independent or the multiplex?
Well, personally, I prefer the independent cinema compared to the multiplex, as independent cinemas give a personal approach, unlike the dead, artificial coldness, mass-produced multiplex cinemas such as View and Odeon. But when it comes to the technological side of things, such as IMAX and 3D, I personally believe that independent cinemas will not drown, as they give unique experiences such as quote-alongs, the best of the worst, this whole idea of flashbacks, revisiting that magical moment when those films were released many years ago. For example, we'll revisit some old films such as Rocky Horror Show, Back to the Future. I believe this is the correct way, the correct approach for cinema.
But what does the data say about the comparison between the multiplex and the independent? The average ticket price of the multiplex is £7.80. If we compare this with the £9 ticket price of the independent, we can factor in how the audience's choice may be torn, as we can tell that a cheaper price is more appealing. With the multiplex 9-screen average and 40% ownage of all UK cinemas, it can be seen why the Odeon Cinema franchise made a 12% increase in revenue to a massive £725.1 million. But what does this mean? It seems independent cinemas are losing money every day as more people are going to the multiplex cinemas to see the latest blockbusters, because of their cheaper prices and major accessibility. Also, as the newest blockbusters are promoted, they are done so using the multiplex cinemas, as these cinemas are used for premieres and the like. Doing this attracts the public to these cinemas. Multiplex cinemas are also able to show 3D films. They have become increasingly popular with the public, and independent cinemas have a limited amount of resources and rarely show the latest films. As technology has progressed, the multiplex cinema has become more accessible, as people can use their smartphones to interact with posters at bus stops by scanning a barcode or simply tapping your smartphone to the interactive tab, and getting the trailer instantly played on their device. People can now also use the internet to find film times for View cinemas and Odeon cinemas in London just by simply typing in the name of the film they want to see, and by downloading apps onto smartphones and other such devices. People can use the location on their device and find the nearest multiplex cinema to where they are and find the film they want to see and check the times, and could also buy their tickets before they even get to the cinema, all within minutes. Independent cinemas are drowning in the race against technology. However, independent cinemas have opened a niche in the market by having film events such as quote-alongs or playing marathons of old movies or the best of the worst. But what does the public think about all this? Is the independent movie a dying breed, or is it a new and upcoming craze?
I've only been to one independent cinema. It was in Shoreditch. It was so much better. The only thing is very hard to get a seat there. Yeah, independent cinemas seem to become very mainstream very quickly because it's so good and so much better than an Odeon. I think probably not the best to answer that, but I think we could definitely do it a few more.
I prefer the independent cinemas. I think that they're a little bit more intimate in terms of the environment. I think that the multiplex can be really commercialized and you don't really get to enjoy the atmosphere as much when there's such a huge auditorium, whereas the independent ones are a bit more low-key. Unfortunately, yes. However, thanks to things like hipster culture and the independent scene, they've gone underground a bit more, which is I think helping it in a way, and also helping finance it because it is a bit cheaper, so a lot of students usually go to the independent cinemas compared to the multiplexes, which is, you know, commercialized.
I'm gonna have to say the more commercialized multiplex, just because there's certain times you'll just go to a movie and you like that comfort and you know the standard in which they're providing you, whereas you don't know that with independent cinemas. You don't know the quality of the seating, film, what have you. It is, unfortunately, with everything that is not mass media and everything that's privately owned, everything's dying.
We can see that there are mixed views. Towards these cinemas among the public. But is the end of the independent approaching? Only time can tell. This is Shane Pickering for London Showbiz News.